死んだは初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなに人が多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君はまだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ万歳。ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
ランドトライドまで。
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてね。この世界季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだと大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコを掴んでいいさ。そうそうそうそう。やらせるで。
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Cobra Cast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here today. Good to see you on a Saturday. A lot to talk about. Only a little time to do it because we're going to have a big Monday and potentially a big week with President Trump bringing peace to the world like he has been known to do. And that's really upsetting a lot of people. Imagine that. The people that are the most tolerant people in the world are upset that President Trump is giving us peace around the world. The peace president, and they're angry. Unbelievable. Mike sounds like Turtle Beach brand. That's a compliment. Because when I started gaming back in, or when I started online gaming, back in like the Modern Warfare days, I got me, dude, is it that bad? Like seriously? Now I gotta fucking listen to it and see. Let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, it does sound like shit, doesn't it? It actually does. But Turtle Beaches are good brands, all right? They're good. Someone said, what's wrong with his mic? Meaning like you don't think it sounds bad? Well, you know, here's the thing about my audience, because we do have a lot of new viewers here. My audience has basically, they expect incredible production from my streams. They expect the highest production value we've ever seen. And when it's off just by a little bit, man, they're going to nitpick it, and I respect that, okay? So yeah, I mean, we have very high standards here at Cobra Cast 199. But we're just gonna have to roll with it. I'll have to figure out what's wrong with it. I don't know what's wrong with it. But anyway, good to see all of you here tonight. And yes, I am doing a Fortnite stream after, because I can't get Jay to play Battlefield 6 with me. So we're going to play Fortnite. S. Becker says, Tim Pool's sound is so much better. You're right about that. I'm not even going to argue. Like, I can't even argue it. I mean, there's nothing to argue, so I can't. But in all seriousness, so check this out. I did the, let me pull it up. I did the interview last night with Sean Hannity and President Trump. And that's got a lot of views, actually. Right, here it is. So here it is. You know, it's sitting at 40,000 views right now. And it's brought in a lot of new viewers because people were looking for it, because the way I titled it was very algorithm friendly. And let me tell you, man, you can tell that these people don't watch me because I got people going off on me about my language and interrupting and who is this guy? Who does he think he is? It was really, really funny. But yeah, just go into the comments section. You can actually see where people that have never watched me, and they are completely like, this guy uses terrible, terrible language. He uses awful language. And I'm just like, yeah, I do. But it is what it is. So anyway, where are we at? Jeremy's alt account for $1. Thank you. Eric K says, mod lives matter. John Jones says, imagine telling someone 20 years ago that Democrats would be livid at Republican for trying to end a war peacefully. I know, it's absolutely crazy. SVT Junkie for 5 says, here's for Henry's tampon. Look at that. Look at that. Brian Stewart says, Mario Hoodie means Mario Kart tonight. Run it back. No Mario Kart tonight. No Mario Kart tonight. Eric K says, to be honest with you, anytime chat and mods hear you, it's bad. We deserve a better host. I agree. Warbeer says, I'm triggered because your hat kind of clashes. Your hat hoodie kind of clashes. I can't win. Now I'm getting fashion advice from my chat. Fashion advice. But look, it's been a day on Twitter. I've upset some people on Twitter. Let's take a look at this really quick. So if I go into my replies right here. So this Twitch streamer, this trans Twitch streamer that kind of went viral over cheating at Battlefield 6. This trans streamer now has, I guess like 5 times his viewership. And Dexerto here says, Twitch streamer Riley CS has beaten her viewership by 5 times after being temporarily banned by Twitch. Attention from this drama might let Riley turn her streaming hobby into a full-time career. So I responded and I said, good for him. This can help raise mental awareness for men from suffering from mental illness. I mean, I don't know what was wrong with what I said. I complimented this person. I said, good for him. This can help raise awareness for men suffering from mental illness. And boy, oh boy, did people get mad. So this person says, Jeremy here hating a trans person for getting more views than him. Classic transphobes. And I said, not that it really matters, but I get more than 1,500 concurrent live viewers. At least you're consistent. You just believe things, even if it's not real. I respect the commitment. And then this person says, who are you? And I said, me? I'm just the 8th most super chatted channel in the entire world yesterday. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. No autographs, please. No autographs. Okay? No autographs. Not a big deal, really. There's no reason. I don't brag about it. I don't talk about it. I am a very humble streamer that never brags about these things. So I like to fly under the radar. Don't want anyone praising me or congratulating me or anything like that. It's just not my style. Jeremy, did you see the comments on the video other day? Shit was amazing. If you're talking about mine, yes, I did. It was pretty freaking crazy. Mike S for $20 says, I've stuck with Trump through everything. They've tried to literally end the man's life. He rose up and beat them all. He isn't perfect and he makes mistakes, but he is the best leader of my lifetime. Never be a panicking. 1,000%. 1,000%. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. I saw your comment too, on my video. I think I gave it a like or a heart. So thank you, brother. I appreciate the support. Tweeted Tone, what's up, brother? I saw your comment too. Very nice comment. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, the nice comments, like I don't like compliments, but when I'm getting absolutely just railroaded by people that don't know who I am, the nice comments actually it was a nice change of pace because I'm getting all these people that hate my guts just cussing me out. Meanwhile, telling me I have bad language. Why the fuck do you use bad language? And I'm like, fuck, I'm sorry. I apologize. Shit, my bad. Did I say fuck? I didn't mean to say shit. Said it again. Didn't mean to, Coop says Gary reacted to me unlike Jeremy. I'm sorry, Coop. I'm sorry, buddy. But okay. Let's see here. First of all, there is I'm not sure if I like this comment or not. Giggles and Bits says Jeremy is a good-looking guy. If you're a dude, please don't say that again. If you're a chick, Thank you. Okay? I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Now I'm feeling pretty good. If you're a chick, if you're a dude, it's just going to hurt my confidence. Like, I'm going to be like, fuck. So this is the pennant. This is the compliment depends on something. All right. We'll find out. I'm waiting for confirmation from Giggles and Bits. I really hope you're a chick and you're not saying anything, which is even worse. Actually, no. If you're a dude, don't say anything, and I'll just assume you're a chick. Okay? That's all right. I can't. I don't see the comment coming in. Anyway, all right. We do have stuff to talk about today. We have huge news in the political world. And as I said yesterday, I do believe that President Trump was very upset with not Putin per se, but I feel that he was just upset with the situation. He said in his interview with Brett Baer that he would not be thrilled if he didn't walk away with a ceasefire, and he didn't walk away with a ceasefire. And I think that there was a lot of work that had to be done, and that's why Trump was so focused. And I think that I've been proven right with that now, because we have news that Zelensky to meet Trump at the White House for peace talks. All right. This is a huge, this is going to be must-see TV on Monday. This is going to be must-see TV. What's up, Drunk 3PO? I see you, Jay. Jay, Fortnite, me, you, Beardo, let's go. But this is going to be a big moment.
Zelensky and President Trump both confirming that Zelensky will travel to the White House on Monday for an Oval Office meeting. The two leaders held lengthy phone calls late last night following the historic summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, Zelensky says he received positive signals from the U.S. on guaranteeing security for the country.
That's right. And it comes after Trump and Putin met in Alaska yesterday for a very rare face-to-face negotiation. The president describing the high-stakes meeting with Putin as a 10, and then posting to Truth Social this morning saying, quote, "It was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up."
Joining us with the latest on the summit is Rebecca Castor. She's live from Washington with the details. Good morning, Rebecca.
And we're going to listen to the rest of this because there's some good stuff in here. But I also want to say there's an update to this. President Trump wants to host both Vladimir Putin and Zelensky together as soon as Friday. That is per Axios. That, I'm telling you, this could be a huge week. This could be a massive week, depending on how all of this plays out. But Trump has been working nonstop, and this is why he's the greatest president of all time. So we'll go back to this. Let's hear what all they have to say.
Charlie, good morning. For now, Trump is sharing very little details on what he discussed with Putin to not disrupt the deal as he's making it. It all started yesterday with B-2 bombers and fighter jets flying over the world leaders on the tarmac in Alaska, an opportunity for the U.S. to show off our military strength. Putin and President Trump met for about 3 hours and say many details regarding Ukraine were agreed to, but they're not there yet. Putin did, however, make this stunning admission.
Today, when President Trump saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good, businesslike, and trustworthy contact.
Then President Trump then responded to Putin's confession.
I was very happy to hear him say if I was president, that war would have never happened. I see everyone saying worst since World War II by far. There's nothing even close. But we had a very good meeting today, and I think a lot of points were negotiated.
Putin's profession comes as Trump tells Fox's Brett Baer that Chinese President Xi Jinping assured him that he wouldn't invade Taiwan during his term, even though a Ukraine peace deal hasn't been reached yet.
How can you not like Trump? Like, how can you not like Trump with what he's doing right now? He is creating peace all over the world, and they still hate him. It's the most unbelievable thing. If you are a Trump hater, you are on the wrong side of history. History will judge you as being a mentally deranged lunatic with what this man is doing. You have been programmed by very stupid people, and you have listened to them. Wake the fuck up. Wake up.
Some lawmakers are already advocating for Trump to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Congressman Andy Ogle's writing, today President Trump did what no leader could, brought Russia and the U.S. back to the table. From the Abraham Accords to North Korea, his record is peace through strength. I'm drafting his Nobel Peace Prize nomination now. Stay tuned. And we'll stay tuned to see if Trump can get this to the finish line. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Truly, truly historic, extraordinary day yesterday. And I have to say that, President Putin arriving in Alaska, the first Russian president to ever visit Alaska, which is kind of extraordinary considering the history of that spot of land between the United States and Russia, which is only miles away from Russia, in fact. And for him to land there in a moment from what you're seeing on the screen right there, as they're about to mount the stage, is when that B-2 bomber with the F-35s come roaring over.
This moment with the bomber flying over, truly one of the greatest moments of all time. The timing, the precision, unbelievable. And this is Trump doing the most Trump thing of all time.
And you have to think there was a moment there where Putin was wondering, okay, wait, what is about to happen?
Right. Well, you also can imagine that President Trump, who is very aware of how things look.
Yeah.
He's a producer at heart.
Yes.
And so you mentioned, the bombers coming over, looking at that right now. But also the first thing I noticed was, one, Donald Trump or President Trump made Putin walk towards him. Okay. And then President Trump had this giant red carpet, and Putin had this tiny little strip to walk down. But did you notice that? It was, you had to know that President Trump said, make sure my red carpet is much bigger than his red carpet. And that was something to notice as well. But listen, he said the meeting was warm. He gave it a 10. And by the way, he mentioned also how hot our country is multiple times in all of this, and then said,
yeah, her voice, again, her voice kind of falls in line with most women, better seen, not heard. Don't smoke, kids. If you don't want to have that type of voice, don't smoke, because holy crap, she's struggling. Okay.
Listen, this is now up to Zelensky to get it done.
Yeah, and when President Trump, obviously, he sat down with Sean Hannity and talked about this pretty much at length. I was on standby for the show, so I got to see it almost in real time. And the one thing about it is President Trump came into that interview with energy. He came into it seemingly optimistic, of course, cautiously optimistic. But this is just one part of the interview, what he told Sean Hannity about, America and Russia moving forward.
I always had a great relationship with President Putin, and we would have done great things together in terms of, their land is incredible. The rare earth, the oil, gas, everything, it's incredible. It's the largest piece of land in the world. This war should never have happened. A lot of wars should never have happened. He drove China and Russia together. That's not good. If you are just a minor student of history, it's the one thing you didn't want to do, because they're basically natural enemies. Russia has tremendous amounts of land. China has tremendous amounts of people, and China needs Russia land. But because of pure stupidity, they were driven together.
Okay, so I love in this interview that immediately President Trump starts talking about the elephant in the room, which is China.
Yeah.
The real enemy of America in this situation, and the irony that this war has brought these two together. But before we dissect the China part, which I think is eminently important, let's talk about the fact that this interview with Sean Hannity, our own Sean Hannity, happened minutes after this
In the
meeting.
same room.
In the same
Exact
room.
same spot.
Think about
And that's the thing too. The media hates Trump, and yet the Trump gives the media the media eats better than they've ever eaten when Trump is president. Yet they hate Trump. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Joe Biden gave them nothing. Joe Biden left them in the dark constantly. And yet Trump gives them every single thing and more. And they continue to attack him, to lie about him, because they are told to hate him because they're scared to death of these freaks that they have pandered to for so long. Let's see.
About the lack of transparency and
Brandon in the chat, and by the way, we know Brandon's cool because he capitalized like certain letters in his name, so that's cool. But Brandon, I asked your mother not to talk about what my bed sheets look like. Apparently, she did not keep her mouth shut, which I can confirm she doesn't keep her mouth shut. But I wish she would not have talked about the fact that I have Trump bed sheets. But hey, mouth open. Mouth opens once, mouth open always, I guess. So yeah, it is what it is. I wish she would have, not said anything, but here we are.
And sort of just press conferences and everything else from the last administration. Here we have President Trump almost opening us up into this entire situation, giving us full access until they get in the meeting. Then minutes after talking with Sean Hannity and breaking down what happened as much as was possible without blowing up the deal. In fact, Charlie, at one point he said, I really shouldn't have had this interview with you. And Sean's like, I've never had an interview where the person says, I shouldn't have had an interview with you. But that's the kind of openness and transparency that America's craving. And I think it makes for better negotiations. You got to believe that Putin saw that President Trump is the same person in that meeting as he is on Sean Hannity. And that's how you begin to build trust.
Yeah, and of course, the left predictably freaked out because one of the things that Vladimir Putin said in his statement during this, it wasn't a press conference, it was more of a press lecture, was that that the war never would have happened had it not been for President Biden. And, obviously, Putin was obviously saying something that Donald Trump has said many times before. And the leftist Democrats who are upset about this peace effort, I think, are arguing that somehow Donald Trump is getting played. I don't think Donald Trump is getting played by that. Obviously, two things can be true. Putin can say the thing that Donald Trump has said 1,000,000 times, invented, but it doesn't mean that Donald Trump isn't still negotiating on behalf of the United States of America and on behalf of peace.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. So, I mean, you have that going on. You clearly had Trump working the phones, working different, people yesterday, trying to get this all resolved. Now you got Zelensky coming to the White House Monday, which is going to be must-see TV. And then on top of that, you have the First Lady, Melania Trump, sends a personal letter to Vladimir Putin. Here it goes right here.
Welcome back on Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. A live look at the White House, 5:11 in the nation's capital. We have some news coming in relating to the Trump-Putin summit in Alaska. It has to do with the First Lady. There's an exclusive from Fox News Digital. They say First Lady Melania Trump wrote a peace letter to Russian President Vladimir Putin telling him, quote, "It's time to protect children and future generations around the globe." Fox News Digital exclusively obtaining the letter the First Lady penned to Putin, which President Trump hand-delivered to the Russian leader before their summit in Alaska. Immediately upon receiving the letter, Fox News Digital says, Putin read it as the American and Russian delegations looked on. Fox News Digital with some pieces of the letter. I'm going to read a little bit. Quote, "Dear President Putin, the First Lady's letter begins, every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation's rustic countryside or a magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. As parents, it is our duty to nurture the next generation's hope. As leaders, the responsibility to sustain our children extends beyond the comfort of a few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint a dignity-filled world for all so that every soul may wake to peace and so that the future itself is perfectly guarded. A simple yet profound concept, Mr. Putin, as I am sure you agree, is that each generation's descendants begin their lives with a purity and innocence which stands above geography, government, and ideology, unquote. I just read a few excerpts from the letter there. Fox News Digital has the full thing. Again, we're learning that there was a letter exchange during the Putin-Trump summit in Alaska. It took place on Friday. The letter having to do with the safety of Ukrainian children. And what I will say here about this is First Lady Melania Trump was not seen in attendance in Alaska. We did not see her participate.
So this tells me that Trump is working every angle he can to get this done. He wants this done. He is very committed to getting this done. And now that Melania is pinning a letter directly to Vladimir Putin, it's clear Trump is working every angle he can. He wants peace, and he will be the only person that can pull this off. I mean, he's literally brought Zelensky and Vladimir Putin back to the discussion table, which no one else could pull off. I mean, regardless as to what ultimately happens, which I think that he will get this done, the fact that he's already gotten this far and he's already created so much peace around the world, like I'm tired of the Nobel Peace Prize talk because honestly, like I said, I truly believe that the Nobel Peace Prize is this point is beneath Trump anyway. I mean, Barack Hussein Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize, so it really means nothing. Unless they're going to rename it to the Trump Peace Prize, that's the thing. Like, if you tell me, like, Trump is so incredible, we're going to rename the Nobel Peace Prize to the Trump Peace Prize, and then we're talking. But outside of, like, I don't care about it. Who cares? When Barack Hussein Obama won it, it tainted it forever. So yeah, I don't really care about that. Eric Heffelfinger for 10 says Jeremy looks good enough to be the main feature on Bro Island. Jonathan for 20 says Trump is like me. I am the captain now. Thank you, Jonathan, for $20 super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's get caught up here. Olympian Product says, chat, don't be fooled by the rumors that Jeremy is Mossad. That M clearly stands for Massey. Big time Thomas Massey fan here. Big time. Solid Felix says, we want a straight host, Jeremy. Chair lives matter. Or I'm sorry, chat lives matter. I messed it up. Zinni Biscuit says, hang on. Okay. Remove the space, YouTube being dumb. I didn't know what you were saying there. Thank you, Zinni Biscuit. Is that a picture of Dollywood behind you? That is Dollywood, isn't it? I was very confused. Of course, sometimes you have to jump around the YouTube censors, so I was very confused. Slade Law says Jeremy needs to use more awful language, not less. Mike S says also, yeah, that cheater wasn't a troon or tranny, nobody would be defending him. It's very true. Eric K says, sure, you can talk into a mic, but can you drive a forklift? Back in my day, I could. I haven't driven a forklift in over a decade, though, but I could back in the day. And dude, tell you right now, when you had a high KD, you could make memes and you could drive a forklift. You could not have a better chick magnet than that life. Forklift driver, high KD in Call of Duty, and making memes. The chicks were everywhere, okay? They were everywhere. They're like, you're a certified forklift driver? I was like, hell yeah, girl. They're like, damn. Jeremy's alt account says, I only speak one language, and it's bad English. Let's see. Philip Poole says, keep up the good work. Need to use Beardo as a political on-site correspondent. That would be a treasure. It would be good. It would be good. Did I cut my hair? No, I did not cut my hair. No, my hair is still long and aggravating. So Mike S says, Jeremy is a weak-looking fig. It needs to lift more. Benjamin says, Zelensky, remember to bring a good suit, the American people. Do we think Zelensky's going to wear a suit? I don't know, man. I don't know. J-Back on Rumble for $10 says $10 make ya holla. New to the stream, very based. Thanks. Thank you, J-Back. I appreciate that, man. Well, I'm happy. I'm happy that you didn't turn off the stream as soon as you tuned in. So I really appreciate it. Phil says, I hope Trump is kind enough to provide a high chair for Zelensky this Monday if he wears a suit. Hail Unit 199. Your Barmy says they jealous of 6'3", 215 pounds. I actually think he will wear a suit this time. I think he will. Mike S says, Jay, you seem like a savior type. You would love playing medic, running around, instantly reviving your squad. It's so fun. Just make sure to use an SMG. I think that I'm going to try to sell Jay on getting Battlefront when it comes out. Okay, you guys have to work with me, but I think I'm going to sell him. All right, I'm going to try. Mike Zero Source says, Jeremy, do you like pudding? How about pudding these nuts? I knew you were going somewhere with it. The Good White says, I have Vance bed sheets. Now that is a man of culture right there. That is a man of culture. Did I say Battlefront? Battlefield. 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 I do want to play Battlefront, though. I really miss playing Battlefront. Mike S says, new controller aim sensitivity for Battlefield 6 is at 200 plus for sniping. It also works very well when I'm playing medic, rocking the second SMG. Get at it, brothers. I'm ready for it. I think it's going to be a huge release. I hope they get rid of the cheaters, though, man. The cheaters are a big problem from what I hear in the beta. I haven't played the beta since it dropped the second time. Eric K says, everyone knows that Jeremy has a Dale Earnhardt race car bed. Do not lie, Brandon. This is true. I had an Earnhardt race bed back in the day. So, again, you guys think like, oh, Jeremy just talks shit. Okay. High KD makes memes, drives a forklift, okay? The ladies falling in love with me. Bring him back to the crib, and they see the Dale Earnhardt bed, and then they're out. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. Don't disrespect the Intimidator, okay? That was where they drew the line. Now I was like, hold up, chicks. Don't disrespect the Dale Earnhardt race car bed, all right? This is where the magic happens. But for some reason, that's where they drew the line. And I'm like, fuck that. Mad Frog says Trump needs to offer Putin an all-day pass to Bro Island. Phil says this is for you buying Plan B after you visit Brandon's mom. Mike S says, look, Putin is KGB. He's smart enough to know that Trump is the best option to help him save his legacy. Peace will happen. It might just take some time. Ghost Crusader CV says, Zelensky is the problem. He's got to go. Jeeping Baylor for $50. $50 super chat. Hail, Jeremy. Been watching you and Geeks and Gamers for a few years now, and it's refreshing to see such based content in an ocean of wokeness. Anyway, I love Benny, but he is the king of clickbait. Is it true Budweiser hired Sydney Sweeney to do ads? I have not heard that Budweiser has hired Sydney Sweeney. I don't even know where that came from. Did Benny make a video on that? I know nothing about that if that happened. It hasn't shown up on my timeline. So has anybody heard this? Let's see here. I think it was a Dilly meme, like Dilly meme team. Yeah, I'm not aware of that, but I want to look that up now. I mean, look, that would be a huge dub if they did that. That's how you recover. Sydney Sweeney Let's see. Let's see if it's true. Should that they offered her 10 million? There's reports of it, but I don't see it confirmed or anything like that yet. But there are reports out there. So it looks like that there's rumors for sure. But I am not seeing anything confirmed. So I hope it happens. I mean, who wouldn't want to see her promoting that? I mean, I don't even drink, and I'd probably get drunk as hell as she starts. You know, if she starts promoting, I might start taking up alcohol immediately. Okay. Never ever drank a drop of alcohol in my life. And if she's telling me to buy some Budweiser, I'm gonna get drunk as fuck. Okay. So but yeah, it looks like that there's an offer potentially that's being rumored, Jeeping Baylor, but I don't actually see anything that she's accepted. But I'm pretty sure she would accept if there's an official offer. I will look into it though more and let you know. Patty 2020 says, I think Jeremy is cute no matter what he wears or sleeps in. I'm gonna assume Patty is a chick. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Compliment from a chick is always a good thing. Not from a dude, though. Evil Black Cat says this U.S.-Russia hatchet should have been buried a long time ago. Problem is NATO would have to dissolve, but there's so much vested interest by the EU, defense contractors and warmongers who won't let go. And that's essentially the problem with war. I've talked about this a long time ago, but I mean, like my path to becoming anti-Republican back in the day was because of the George Bush administration. And I really, really, really I hated the George Bush administration. I couldn't stand any of them. And the reason that I came to that conclusion was because, you know, I was raised to be a Republican, you know, Christian conservative, you know, all that stuff. And I had no problem with George W. Bush in his first term, but until the Iraq stuff started. And then I'll never forget that, like I said, I've talked about this before, but I'll repeat it again for those that aren't aware of it. But a friend of mine, I guess he had like a contact with like working for Halliburton during the Iraq war. And it was an insane amount of money that these contractors were making. And this was for like entry-level stuff. And it was just like, he's like, I can get you on. And it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year back in that time, which was an insane amount of money. And I'm going, you can get me to work for Halliburton, making hundreds of thousands of dollars in a war zone while I'm being protected by the military who's getting paid a fraction of what we're getting paid. And I don't have any fucking experience whatsoever. And he's like, yeah, it's a sweet deal, bro. And I'm like, how much are the people up top making then? Holy shit, war is about money and business. It's not about freedom. It's not about protecting America. These motherfuckers are in business. And then you find out Halliburton had like a no bid contract and all of this. And I'm like, holy shit. George W. Bush never gave a fuck about America. Condoleezza Rice never cared about America. Dick Cheney never cared about America. Donald Rumsfeld never cared about America. There it is. So, Mike S says, what happened to Fish Titties? He's still around. Pretty sure he's a Nick Fuentes fan. I think Fish Titties is a Nick Fuentes fan. CG says, general rule of thumb, if the left is losing their mind, things are good. When they are calm, be careful. It's true. Ladybug says, chair lives matter. Just ask Mickey's chair. Andrew Sarah says, yo, Maximus Retardus. Do you think Trump would have made Putin agree to peace last night if he was wearing an Adidas tracksuit and a gold chain? Dude, that would be funny as hell, actually. Oh, we got to. So here's another update, real quick. That this was a few hours ago from Fox News. An update on Zelensky. Putin's demands of Zelensky. Ukraine revealed. Here we go.
Begin with Peter Ducey in Anchorage, Alaska. Peter.
John, good afternoon. And Donald Trump is now the middleman between Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. And when the president was leaving Alaska from this after this summit yesterday that did not yield a ceasefire, he phoned Zelensky to tell him that Putin's latest proposal is that he will stop fighting on some of the frontline battlefields in Ukraine, but only if Ukraine agrees to hand over 2 territories to the Russians. That would be Eastern Donetsk and Luhansk. That is according to a report by Reuters.
I mean, we were together almost 3 hours, and it was very extensive, and we agreed on a lot of points. I mean, a lot of points we're agreed on, but there's not that much. There's, 1 or 2 pretty significant items, but I think they can be reached. Now it's really up to President Zelensky to get it done. And I would also say the European nations, they have to get involved a little bit, but it's up to President Zelensky.
Zelensky is confirmed for a White House visit Monday. European partners have also been invited, according to various reports. The president says that is because it was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up. Between now and then, Zelensky is concerned that, quote, based on the political and diplomatic situation around Ukraine and knowing Russia's treachery, we anticipate that in the coming days, the Russian army may try to increase pressure and strikes against Ukrainian positions in order to create a more favorable political circumstance for talks with global actors. And despite his refusal to end the war yet, Putin says he sees progress.
Our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We had very thorough negotiations.
And we expect on Monday, when President Trump and Zelensky and whichever other European partners are gathered at the White House, that a key part of these negotiations about a peace agreement will be security guarantees for Ukraine, which basically means trying to figure out how many Western troops, NATO troops, the European leaders can stick in Ukraine without causing Putin to continue his aggression.
So it's going to be interesting to watch this all play out. Now, Ducey had another video where I'm going to go to the end of it here, but he's essentially talking about that, the peace process has begun, but it's really slow.
Years ago, and Joe Biden made the same exact joke that President Trump did, which is basically just, look, now you see what I have to deal with. They don't have those kind of scrums at the Kremlin, but President Trump has like 4 a day. And so, when President Trump, as you mentioned, it's like an information overload. He talks about everything all the time. Putin doesn't. And we thought that there was going to be some middle ground there with a brief Q&A with the Russian press and the U.S. press. The Q&A did not happen. If they reached a ceasefire agreement, we probably would have heard from both of them. But for whatever reason, Putin just isn't there yet. And so we'll see what President Trump is going to come back with on Monday with Zelensky in the Oval Office. As we know, we've come a long way from Zelensky being lectured by J.D. Vance in the Oval Office for not being grateful for all the U.S. support. Now he's going to come back, and he has got President Trump, who my guess would be is kind of annoyed by the fact that he came all the way to Alaska. Putin came all the way to the U.S., and nothing happened right away. But they're getting there.
Yeah. And maybe you'll get like...
I think that there's no doubt that Trump is annoyed. I don't know if I'm not saying he's annoyed directly with Putin as much as he's annoyed that this has taken him this long to have to clean this mess up, this Joe Biden mess. And Trump is trying everything he can to get this done. And that's my takeaway from it yesterday when there was a lot of confusion as to why did they not take questions. Trump he doesn't seem mad, but he definitely seems, probably the word would be anxious to get things done. So instead of wasting time at a press conference talking to the media, he wanted to be on the phone calling world leaders to get this deal done. And same with like the Sean Hannity interview, where he said in the interview that he's like, I really wish I wouldn't have done this interview. The reason he says that is because he would have rather been on the phone. Now, of course, late last night, I mean, Trump didn't get in until I think like 4 a.m. or something like that. I'd have to look it up and see. I don't think that I bookmarked that one in particular, but I mean, he was late last night. He was on the phones like 3 or 4 a.m. from Trump Force One. And then after that, here it is. Trump got back to D.C. at 5 a.m. this morning after a 22-hour day in pursuit of peace in Alaska. And he was out on the course by noon. I have no idea how he does it. This man is a machine. So here he is, like, going golfing. It's like, dude, this is crazy. Man is an unstoppable force. It's absolutely crazy. So incredible indeed. Let's see here. We've got Mark of Reality says, I heard about the Sweeney Bud Light business arrangement earlier today. So I looked up on Grok. She's being considered by Bud Light now that Dylan dropped their profits by $1.4 billion. Exactly. Listen, wokeness is a disease. Wokeness will always fail no matter what. Everything woke touches dies. President Trump has said that. And look, even like this, I tweeted about this today. So this was on ESPN. I don't know if you can hear this or not because the audio is very low, but listen to this DEI hire on ESPN.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Feeling good, man. Excited, a little bit for this. I'm up.
You probably can't hear it, so I'll tell you what she says. So this is this guy Drewski is sitting there. The DEI host says the jersey. Obviously, this ties to Shedeur Sanders. That's a Barry Sanders jersey. You're a host on ESPN. And she thought it was a Shedeur Sanders jersey. What the fuck are we doing? So I say, Barry Sanders, arguably the single most talented football player to ever live, and the DEI hire for ESPN has no idea who he is. Incredible. For those that may not be aware, Barry Sanders was a running back for the Detroit Lions. Barry Sanders was also an all-time great college football running back. If you actually watch the clips of Barry Sanders when he was in the NFL, the man could do things on the football field that no one else could do. He was incredible. And this reporter or this ESPN personality just thinks about the latest shiny toy, which is Shedeur Sanders, which is Deion Sanders' son. Unbelievable, dude. Like, this is a fireable offense in any profession. This would be a fireable offense. Insane, dude. So, yeah, I mean, this is constantly a problem at ESPN. ESPN will look at a straight white male who is qualified, who's well-spoken, who's knowledgeable, who can actually bring some insight and say, we don't want you. We want the woke black woman, because diversity is more important than having a qualified individual. That's what ESPN is. It's absolutely insane. This is mind-blowing that you wouldn't know who Barry fucking Sanders is. Not knowing who Barry Sanders is would be like a fucking Star Wars fan not knowing who Luke Skywalker is. What the fuck are we doing? ESPN is straight garbage. pisses me off. Yeah, you're going to hire a Star Wars person and they don't know who fucking Darth Vader is. Insane. Mike S. says what Trump did was box Zelensky in, forcing him to make a decision for peace or to look like a complete jackass to the entire world. He used Putin to do this. He's playing several plays here. He is the master for sure. You are correct. John freaking Murdoch for $50. Hey, Jeremy, I was late to your stream, but you are still gay. Seriously, though, you are a vibrant, handsome man. Almost makes me want to swing for the other team. Almost. No homo. Hail Unit 199. Mod lives matter. Chat lives matter. John, this is the weirdest fucking super chat you have ever sent. And if it wasn't for $50, I might feel a little weirder about it. But $50 is $50. So I'm taking it, man. I'm taking it and I'm not judging you, okay? $50 is $50, okay? Thank you, John. So Terry said, he said no homo, though. So it's all good. He said no homo, so it's all good. Jeffrey Hill for $20 says, you work for a sports channel like ESPN. You need to know the history of sports. How Barry Sanders is retired. He retired early. One of the best running backs, would have broken the record for Walter Payton, but he retired early. Absolutely. And Barry Sanders, when he scored touchdowns, like, he wouldn't even celebrate, man. He was business as usual, super respectful. He was just like, man, Barry Sanders deserved so much of a better team. His loyalty was the worst thing because he stayed right there. So, you know, he stayed there in Detroit, man. He was amazing, though. Doug B for 10 says, sorry, but pretty sure you meant Walter Payton. I'll forgive you this time. Look, Sweetness was awesome. But if you're talking about the most talented football player, there are 5 names I will throw out there as a strong argument, okay? Talent. We're just talking about pure talent. Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, Randy Moss, Lawrence Taylor. I got to think about a 5th. But those 4 right there, yeah, Dion would probably be in that too. I'm going to say Barry Sanders, Randy Moss, Trump. Of course, Trump. I mean, Trump would have to. Now, somebody said O.J. Simpson. Listen, one thing, O.J. Simpson was a killer. On the field and off the field, okay? On the field and off the field. OJ was a killer. Straight up. Like, OJ would straight murder you. Like, literally and figuratively. All right? So, but yeah, I mean, I'd have to think about it. But Bo Jackson, Barry Sanders, Randy Moss, Lawrence Taylor, and probably primetime Deion Sanders, talent-wise. Just talent. We do have a sports channel, Sports Wars, for Geeks and Gamers, if you guys are interested. The Red Necron says, Trump for England. Hail the 199. Jeremy Gay, thank you. The Raven and Writing Desk for a member message, thank you. Pat Patriot says, better have a suit and a good set of cards. Warbear says, Jeremy had Earnhardt jammies with a back flap. The Red Necron for a 199. Thank you. Mike S says, you got to play Battlefield 6 on console only with cross-play settings off. That's how you avoid most of the cheaters. Go get it, brothers. Clutch City Fan 199 says, Zelensky better not F this up. Sinestro says, what kind of world does a retard from Alabama that can't count? Fuck. I can't even read my insults properly. What kind of world does a retard from Alabama that can't count past Earnhardt is a more reliable news source than mainstream media? You kind of fucked up yourself too, okay? You said new instead of news. You had to put a space in between retard. Leave me alone, chat. Do not make fun of me. Lord Botha says, you may have your forklift and high KD and whatever, Jeremy, but are you a 9-time Pokemon champion that can bake a mean poop cookie? Eric K says, I think that Sydney Bud Light thing was started by Clay Travis saying they should hire her on his show. I did see that clip when I was looking for it. JB24 says, I started the stream, see Sydney Sweeney, and hear how much do people at the top make. For those, I hope a lot. Brian Stewart says, put Zelensky and Putin in a room with Michelle Obama. Matt Brock says, how do you go from playing piano with your dick to the leader of a country of 40 million people? Mike Zero Source says, I've got the solution to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, a wet t-shirt competition. The country with the chick with the hottest chick wins. Boobs unite the world. This is true. Simping on Simpcast says, what's worse thing to hear when giving Willie Nelson a blowjob? I'm not Willie Nelson. I left Saucy to, you probably meant Salty, to come hang out with the 199. Boomer. Thank you, Simping on Simpcast. Keenan, TV show intros you look forward to watching. Sadly, it used to be Game of Thrones. The intro to Game of Thrones was the greatest thing ever. Man, it was such an awesome, the best TV show intro ever. Game of Thrones. I love House of Cards intro. I think that one's really good too. What else? Game of Thrones definitely stands out for sure. Daredevil. I love the early seasons of Daredevil. I love those intros for Daredevil. Breaking Bad short and awesome. Yeah. Oh, Airwolf. Joe Boo just said Airwolf. Boys, if you have never seen, I'm supposed to be on another stream here in just a minute, but this is important. Okay. This is important. Okay. If you don't know about the Airwolf intro, you listen, ladies, settle down. Settle down, ladies. What you are about to see is going to get you excited because this is America at its fucking finest, okay? Here we go. Let's go. Man, I was obsessed with Airwolf as a kid. I loved that show. Amazing. That all happened because of you, Keenan. And whoever said Airwolf, that was awesome. Ladybug says, for the most handsome man on Bro Island. I will take that compliment. Patty says, Jeremy has good genes. And you remind me of my late husband. He was cute too. Well, thank you, Patty. I greatly do appreciate that. I sincerely do. And rest in peace to your late husband. So thank you. That is very, very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Mike S. says, Cowboy fan here. Emmitt Smith was great, but only because he had the best offensive line ever to be made in Troy Aikman. Deion Sanders was the most talented player on the team, period. Mike, I can't tell you how much I agree with everything you said. I mean, I liked Emmitt Smith, but there's no doubt, like, if Barry Sanders would have had Emmitt Smith's offensive line, Barry Sanders would have set a record that would never, ever be matched. That's just the truth of it. Bubba Doom says, A-Team is timeless. Equalizer was cool too. Hell yeah. Twilight Media Corp says you can't talk 80 shows without Knight Rider. Knight Rider was awesome. Mike Zero Source says, if you're bringing back awesomeness, Iron Eagle, the first one. You're damn right. You're damn right on that one. Dan Vicious over on Rumble says, do you know of Steel Toe Show? I convinced him to use the Anna Paulina Luna for $50 drops, lol. The only thing I know about him is the Nick Rekieta stuff. Like I stay as far away from that stuff as possible. But that's pretty funny that you got them to start doing that. I respect that. Let's see. Philip Butler says, ever heard of the TV show Combat? Combat? I don't know if I've heard of Combat. It's not ringing a bell. Whit G says, Top Gun greater than Iron Eagle, and it's not close. Oof. I don't know about that one. Nader's Brick Channel says, I used to get the big copter on GTA 4 and fly around the city to the Airwolf theme. Let's fucking go. Ministry of Wrong Thing for 10 says, the Ukraine-Russia peace deal isn't so simple. Zelensky's people will consider him a traitor if he concedes any land to Russia. That's why it's been such a stalemate. He's afraid of his own people. Yeah, he reminds me of a lot of streamers, a lot of this is like a lot of leftist streamers that are afraid of their audience. They're terrified of their audience because they're scared to give a genuine opinion on something. So they just say what they think their audience wants them to say. And a lot of mainstream streamers are the same way like that. But Zelensky reminds me of like a Twitch streamer that's just scared to give it. Like, say what you want about Asmongold. Asmongold is willing to give his honest fucking opinion no matter what. And half the time his audience rips him apart. And I love the fact that he just doesn't care. He's like, I'm here to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Let's see. Administrator Wrong, or I got that one. Bubba Doom says the best 80s theme is Dukes of Hazzard. Hell yeah. Combat was OG G.I. Joe, says Philip Butler. The Clapper of Cheek says, got a girl at work tells me daily how hot I am. She's married, bipolar, and fresh off parole. Still makes me smile, though. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, well, I am going to be joining my boys for some Fortnite over on the gaming channel. If you guys are interested in going over there and hanging out with us, I would appreciate if you do. Some of you don't, and I totally understand that. But we're going to be playing some Fortnite. I might fire up Battlefield later. I no promises, okay? But we're definitely playing Fortnite. Jay and Beardo will be there. Will be fun. So anyway, just wanted to get an hour-long stream in, update you on a lot of things. Monday will be a big day, because I will be covering the Zelensky stuff here on the channel. Dark Red Knight says, Adam 12, best intro. I love that we're talking about TV intros. I love how random Cobra Cast is. It's so great. But anyway, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I hope you have. Doug says, does anyone know what Jeremy means? What do you mean, Doug? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm here. What do you need? What do you need to know? I'm going to be live on my video game channel, my gaming channel, playing Fortnite, which is an alpha male game. It's the only way to become an alpha male, to play that. So, but anyway, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you over there. The chat will raid you over there if you're interested. You don't have to stay, but I would appreciate it if you do. Have a good night, and we'll talk to all of you later.